Hey, Secaucus Maxers, Zamir here. This is going to be a series of different videos on nutrition. This is going to be the first of 4 on stage 1, which is called our conceive stage. Look through the video, look through the details of what we're talking about, review the video as many times as you want. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us anytime via Facebook, text us at 201-355-3474, or come see us in class. We'll sit with you one-on-one to answer whatever questions you have. Now, the video itself will detail everything about the stage 1 nutrition, which is called the conceive stage. So feel free again to review it as many times as you want and come with as many questions you want. Good luck, Maxers. We're right there with you, supporting you across this nutrition journey. Hey, Secaucus Maxers. I know we're starting our program on Monday, stage 1 of our nutrition. I'm really excited for you guys to get started, not only with these energetic, really fun fitness classes, but to really teach you and educate you on how to fuel your body in the right way. So first things first, I want to any myths I want to take away and kind of tell you why they're not as part of our program. So this is not a fad diet. I'm not going to tell you that, as a typical woman or male, you're supposed to have between 2,000 and 2,500 calories. I'm not going to tell you to drop that to 1,000. I'm not going to tell you to drop it to 1,500. It's really about providing your body with the right nutrients and eating what you need to eat. And a lot of these fad diets, what they end up telling you to do is, drop to 1,000 calories, and then they pump you up with a bunch of vitamins so that your body gets what it needs, but not in the natural way. We are all about eating naturally and eating clean. So what does that result in? A higher metabolism, which obviously as you're working out is a huge benefit because you're going to be burning calories, as well as when you live your regular day life. When you're walking around, you're burning more calories as your metabolism is high. The second big thing that it's going to help is really make that digestive system as efficient as possible, which means it's going to ingest what it needs, it's going to take the nutrients that it needs out of your food, and waste away what it doesn't need. So that's the real success of this program, and that's really where we're able to use that word that we need to use when it comes to health and wellness, sustainability. By being able to, not have you diet, by being able to give you meals that you enjoy, your own cultural foods, things that you enjoy with slight changes that allow you to be satisfied, but still allow you to eat healthy, that's the key to success. That is why we could say and tout that our members are at the same weight years after, they've joined the program, and they never revert back. So that's the success of the MAX. So let's dive into stage 1, the conceive stage. Hey guys, so what I want you to do right now is turn to the inside cover, so turn the page from the front cover to the inside. If you look to the left-hand side, you're going to see a title on the very top left-hand corner that says My Resources. I just wanted to point out a couple of things on this page. Remember, a big thing about the nutrition plan is you have to feel that you're never alone. You're supported through this program through a number of things that are online, as well as, obviously being able to reach out to any of the team within Secaucus as well. So we're always there available for you. We obviously have our secret Facebook page, but we also have some great online resources. So I just want to quickly highlight that the 4 things that you obviously could get as part of supporting yourself through this nutrition plan. The first being naturally your center. We can be there via email, be there via phone number, or in person as well. So our email, so is secaucus@themaxchallenge.com. You can certainly email us at any time. Our center phone number, so to reach out to us via phone number, is 201-355-3474. You could text that number or physically give us a call as well. That's number 1, that's on that list. Number 2 is the online resource. So there's a dedicated site for members. You could achieve it by putting in your website, members.themaxchallenge.com. The user ID is the MAX Challenge, and the most current password currently is S as in Sam, P as in Paul, F as in Frank, 10. It changes every challenge, so we'll obviously update this video to make sure, or update this voicemail to make sure you have the latest passwords. The other thing is the secret group. Make sure that you apply yourself and friend us on the secret group. The way you friend us to get into the secret group is either you friend myself, Zamir, Secaucus Max on Facebook, or you friend Yamil Secaucus Max, and we'll add you to the secret group, which you can certainly ask questions as well. If you ever need help with any type of planning, meal planning, prepping, if you need advice, that's what we're here for. So that's on our inside cover on page 2. Before I kind of detail into the right foods and the right food categories that you're going to be eating as part of this stage 1 nutrition plan, I did want to highlight a couple of quick things as far as our stage 1 conceived stage nutrition plan. There's 3 main things that we're really going to counsel and educate you on. The first being what you're seeing in front of you, eating the right foods. But the other 2 steps that we're really going to focus on during this conceived stage is the second being the portion sizes that you eat, as well as the third item, being that we're sleeping 8 hours a day and we're awake 16 hours. How do I eat throughout those 16 hours to fuel my body in the right way? So let me detail out that first step, the right foods. So if you look at the right foods, we've learned this as children when we were very young, is there's 5 major food groups that we need to have within our body to fuel our body in the correct way. There's proteins, there's carbs, there's healthy fats, there's fruits and vegetables. So within our nutrition plan itself, we are hitting on each of those categories. Now, what you're going to see to your right is things that are highlighted in black and things that are highlighted in red. Anything that's in black, whether it's in best, better, or good category, are compliant within our nutrition plan. So anything that falls within those categories, I want you to be able to feel free with eating and is compliant. Naturally, things that are in red are things that we want to try to avoid during these 10 weeks and during this conceived stage of a nutrition plan. So let me quickly highlight each of the categories. So protein, which is likely something that you're very knowledgeable of, it's our meats, and for our vegetarians, it's the things that we eat to obviously provide nutrients through proteins. So the key thing in the protein side of it is eating meals or eating meat that has leanness to it, meaning we're purchasing lean meats. So for example, a lot of folks ask me, this is a great grilling meat, can I have this? Usually what ends up happening is meats that are categorized as grilling meats have high levels of layered fat within the meat. And what ends up happening is as when you grill it, the fats become oils and the oils get put into the meat and it makes the meat soft. However, that means you're ingesting all these highly saturated fats. And that's what we want to try to avoid when we're in our nutrition plan. So we want to have leaner meats. So for example, in this beef example that I just gave you, versus having a ribeye steak, which is laden with fat, you want to have a filet mignon or have a flank steak or a strip steak, things that are leaner in meat and leaner. The same thing happens with your turkey, your pork, and your chicken. If you have an option to have a chicken breast versus a chicken thigh, I would rather have your chicken breast because it's not as layers of fat within the chicken breast versus the chicken thigh. So that's kind of the focus on that. The other sources of protein, just to give you highlights, is egg whites is a great source of protein. Here at the Max, we sell a very clean whey protein. You get 28 ounces for $45. It's a great way of getting your protein shakes in. So that's a great source of protein. And a lot for my vegetarians, if you're a pure vegetarian, there's 2 options that end up obviously providing you some protein, some carbs. You could have lentils, as well as you could have any type of beans. They count as a half a protein and a half a carb. Now, this only applies to my vegetarians. My meat eaters, I really want you to get all your meat proteins or all your proteins through your meat and through your fish. So moving right along, I think carbs get a bad kind of rap. There are good carbs that you need to be having. I really feel like carbs get a bad rap. They're definitely good carbs that the body needs and only will get those nutrients through carbs. So carbs is an essential part of your diet like every other category that we're seeing on this page. So let me tell you the key thing around carbs is what we're trying to do is avoid things that are high in gluten. And the reason why we're trying to avoid things that are high in gluten is because the body has an extremely tough time breaking down gluten. And what ends up happening is when the body can't break it down, it sends it straight to the intestines. It inflames the intestines. So if you ever felt bloated or feel like there's a lot of gas within your stomach, the reason being is when you're not breaking down, those acids are building up. When you're inflamed, that means that the body tried to digest those carbs and couldn't break it down. So we're trying, as part of our nutrition plan, to make our body and our digestive tract as efficient as possible. So avoiding those things in high gluten content is just going to make your digestive tract as efficient, which is a key thing to obviously feeling great as well as seeing the physical changes. So when it comes to carbs, the things that are high in gluten, for example, white flours or whole wheat flours or multigrain flours, those are things that we need to avoid. What you do if you're extremely bread lover, if you're a bread lover, what I need you to do is go out and find something that's called an Ezekiel Bread. It's a brand, and they come in a variety of different types of breads. You could get your sliced breads, you get muffins, you could get tortillas. In the next page, we'll tell you exactly how it is on serving sizes, but that is completely compliant. And the reason why it is compliant is not made from the grain that breads are made of, but the sprout that grows on top of the grain, which is extremely low in gluten. That's why it's so much easier to digest. Typically, you'll find Ezekiel products in the frozen section of your supermarket, and the reason being it only has a 3 to 5 day life, which is awesome. Because when things have a shorter life, you know they're made fresh and that they don't have things that are chemically preserving them. And that's the key to clean eating and healthy eating. Other quick things when it comes to carbs that are completely compliant, any type of bean, chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, all great carbs to have, all low in gluten or have no gluten at all. Instead of having, if you're a pasta lover, instead of having your whole wheat pasta or your white pasta, you're now having your brown rice pasta and having your tomato sauce with that. You can certainly have quinoa as a great source of carbs. Lentils is a great source of carbs. All these things will benefit you from a carbs perspective. Brown rice cakes, black rice, white rice, all these things will benefit you, obviously, from a carb perspective. Now let's move along to our healthy fats. If you like to cook with oils, we're going to now use an extra virgin olive oil versus any of the other oils. No canola, no vegetable, no corn oil. The reason being is those things are high in saturated fat, which is really bad for the body, while extra virgin olive oil is high in unsaturated fat, which is actually a good thing for the body. If you love to cook with oil, remember, with extra virgin olive oil, if you have that heat on high, it will burn very quickly. So if you're cooking with the extra virgin olive oil, you need to keep that stove on, that flame on very low and cook it slowly. That way it doesn't burn in any nature. Now, the other things I really want to highlight with healthy fats, and I'm a big fan of avocado. Avocado is a great source of healthy fat, and so are any type of nuts. So if you want almonds, cashews, regular peanuts, walnuts, all those are great sources of healthy fats. In addition, you can have peanut butter, you can have almond butter, you can have cashew butter. The key thing is, as you flip over that jar, the only ingredient should be cashews and extra virgin olive oil and maybe salt. Outside of that, you should see no other ingredient behind there. The other cool things that you can find, under healthy fats is you can have your hemp seeds, you could have your flax seeds, you can have pumpkin seeds. These are all, every type of seed is a great source of healthy fat. Now, a lot of folks ask, can I have mayo? There is a mayo that's compliant. It's called Safflower Mayo. It's spelled F-L-O-W-E-R. It's also listed under healthy fats here. That's completely compliant mayo. So let's move on now to the fruits. And like I said, the only things to avoid when it comes to healthy fats is those name brand peanut butters. No Jiffy, no Peter Pans. You want to make sure you flip over that jar. Make sure that the only ingredients are the peanuts and the extra virgin olive oil and salt. Now let's move along to fruits. When it comes to fruit, a fruit is a fruit of a fruit. There is no non-compliant fruit. You can have whatever fruit that you like. The only tip I give you when it comes to fruit is if you're a big fan of a fruit that's really, really high in sugar, I wouldn't utilize that fruit as part of my servings every single day. Have it once in a while. That way you're not absorbing all that sugar and the body is then basically turning it all into energy, and then you have to utilize all that energy throughout the day. And if you don't use it, unfortunately what the body does is store it as fat. So we want to kind of, I'm a big fan of mangoes. Mangoes are extremely, extremely high in sugar. I would love to have my mangoes every single day, but I know they're high in sugar, so what I try to do is have it every third day, for example. It quenches my desire, and I get a chance to try different types of fruit that I may enjoy equally as much as mangoes. So like I said, there is no non-compliant fruits. However, there are fruits that are a little bit lower in sugar content, a little bit higher in sugar content. We created a MAX Challenge newsletter. Within that newsletter, in the inside cover, there is a sugar index when it comes to fruits. We organized it from fruits that have the least amount of sugar in it and the fruits that have the most amount of sugar in it. This will be a helpful resource for you to decide how you want to mix up your fruits, so that way you're not always having the most sugary fruits versus the ones that have less sugar. Let's now move along to vegetables. So vegetables are a key ingredient or key food source when it comes to our nutrition plan. And the reason being is it's twofold. It definitely detoxifies our body, which is awesome. But what it also does is increase our metabolism naturally. So a lot of folks, they'll tell you that vegetables are almost like a negative calorie. And a lot of people will say, I don't understand that. How can it be a negative calorie? And the reason being is as you eat more vegetables, your metabolism naturally increases, which means that as you're eating other foods, or as you're exercising, you're burning more calories because your metabolism is at a higher state. So all vegetables are compliant within the nutrition plan. There's only two that I need you to avoid because they have a lot of sugar within them, and there's two. There's carrots that I need you to avoid, as well as peas. Otherwise, every other vegetable is something that I need you to have. Now, there's other heartier vegetables that I would love for you to have on a regular basis, and there's ones that are a little bit less heartier. Now, you can apply this in any type of meal that you want, but just try to now sample it, try it if you've never tried it before. And I'll give you a few examples, but you could also find it within that newsletter that I was telling you about before with the fruits. Underneath it will also tell you the ones that have proteins within it, the vegetables that have proteins that are heartier for you. For example, like eggplant, asparagus, spinach. Also great for you is broccoli. So those things are denser, they'll keep you fuller longer, and they have a great source of nutrients within it. But then again, like I said, every single vegetable is great for you to have. So let's go to the bottom of the right foods page. So the very bottom will say no dairy, which basically means no cow milk, no goat milk. What we're trying to do, and the reason why we're asking you for the next 10 weeks, is to completely get off dairy, which means no cheeses, no yogurts, outside of obviously having regular milk. The reason why we're doing it is there's a number of studies out there that 70 to 80% of the population is lactose intolerant. And what ends up happening when you're lactose intolerant is your intestines, your inside, your stomach, they all get inflamed as you're ingesting milk. And because there's a large population of people that are lactose intolerant, what we want you to do is discover other forms of getting calcium, other forms of getting vitamin D that could be equally as good for you, but not cause any of that inflammation. So what we want you to do is try out almond milk, try out coconut milk, try out cashew milk. All these have the same level of calcium and the same level of vitamin D as milk has it. However, they won't cause the same inflammation that milk does. So again, everything, all these three brands, almond milk, cashew milk, and coconut milk, should all be unsweetened. There's a number of different brands that are out there that will supply each and every one of them. I would tell you to try every one, see which one you like. I'm a fan favorite of cashew milk, and the reason being is I love my coffee with the hazelnut, and I replaced the cashew milk instead of the hazelnut creamer. So just a quick tip, but try them. I'm almost positive you're going to enjoy one of those three. So now that we're done with the right foods, let's move along to the next page, which is going to talk about the right portion sizes. So now let's turn to the next page. On the upper left-hand corner, what you're going to see is a step 2, the right portions. Like I said before, this is a step 2 of our 3-step process. We went over the right foods. Now we're going to go, how much should you be seeing on that dinner plate, that lunch plate, that breakfast plate as you're eating throughout the day. So what you're going to see here is we broke this down between men and women. Each of the categories that we just previously talked about, the proteins, the carbs, the healthy fats, the fruits and vegetables, are broken down how many servings for male versus how many servings for female. We also gave you a ability to see how much you should be measuring for each serving size, and the things that don't naturally fit into a measuring tool, we gave an explanation of what the serving size is over to the right. So let's start off with proteins. As a female, you're going to be taking in 2 servings of proteins. As a male, you're going to have 3 servings of proteins. What we provide you, and if you haven't gotten this yet, we will provide this to you, or just ask somebody in the front, a 9.5 ounce container. In that 9.5 ounce container, what you have to do is you have to cook whatever meat that you've decided to cook for the day. You include it in that container. As long as the lid has shut,
that is 1 serving. Now, what that means is you don't have to eat it in that single serving time. You don't have to eat it all at that time. You could break it up any which way you want. However, I need 2 of those 9.5 ounces containers throughout the day as a woman, and 3 of those 9.5 ounces container as a male. Now, things that naturally don't fit into the 9.5 ounce container, such as egg whites, you're going to see that the number is to the right. Like, for example, egg whites, 1 serving equals 9. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have 9 eggs in 1 sitting. It means that whatever your omelet that you're making, if you make it out of 3, that means that's 1/3 of a protein. Do the simple division, and it tells you how much of the 2 servings that you're allotted that you've done so far. So that's protein. We're going to move down now to carbs. All right, so as I mentioned, we're down to the carb section. So same thing, that it looks pretty much duplicative of the proteins. As a woman, you're going to get 2 servings. As a male, you're going to get 3. Now for your 9.5 ounce container, you're cooking your brown rice, you're cooking your brown rice pasta, you're cooking your lentils, your beans. Again, you put it into that 9.5 ounce container. As long as the lid shuts, that's 1 serving size of that particular item. Now, things don't naturally fit in that 9.5 ounce container, like bread slices, like English muffins. That's what's listed over to the right. That's what's called that Ezekiel Bread that I was telling you about, which is those sprouted beans that make bread. It's low in gluten. That means it's easily digestible, and it tells you how many slices of bread per serving, how many slices of English muffins per serving, and so on and so forth. That's on the right-hand side. So that finishes up, your carbs. The next thing that you're going to see is healthy fats. As a woman, you're allowed 3 servings of healthy fats, while as a male, you're allowed 4. Now, no container here. Really, you're going to use your measuring tool, and I like to make this as simplistic as possible. If you're a mathematician, they have given you how many peanuts is 1 serving, how many cashews is 1 serving. But in this case, what I like to do, and I like to tell my members, is as long as it fits in your hand, it's a handful, that's 1 serving size. So peanuts is going to obviously give you a little bit more, cashews is going to give you a little bit less. You're generally going to be around that number. Now, this is also healthy fats that you should consider, is instead of having obviously all the oils that I was telling you about, no canola, no vegetable, no corn, you're going to strictly have that extra virgin olive oil. 1 tablespoon of that is basically 1 serving of a healthy fat. Same thing with the avocado. Half an avocado is equal to 1 serving of that healthy fat. You're going to need 3 servings as a female per day, 4 as a male. All right, let's move on to those fruits. So fruits is pretty simple. So an orange, an apple, a banana. A fruit is a fruit, what I say. And basically, you're going to have 2 servings of fruit per day. Now, if it's a smaller fruit, like a berry, a strawberry, a blackberry, you're going to have 1 measuring cup. That'll count as 1 serving of fruit. Now down to the bottom, you're going to see detoxifying and cleansing vegetables. We like to put that connotation around vegetables because that's what it does. It cleanses us and it detoxifies us. I need you to have 1 serving of 7 cups. So basically, I need you to go out, purchase a 7-cup Tupperware, and you need to have that many vegetables per day. So my biggest advice to you is this. It's another little golden nugget for you, is you got to include vegetables in every single meal. So I was a big, when I went through the journey, I was a big protein shake guy because I didn't eat breakfast. So I had a protein shake in the morning. What I used to include in my protein shake was my favorite fruit. And then I used to add spinach. Sometimes I added broccoli. Sometimes I added some collard greens. Those are the things that are going to provide the nutrients, but also make that 7 cups doable. Same thing with my lunch. If you're having chicken or rotisserie, have a side of vegetables. Same thing with your snacks. Figure out what vegetables you enjoy having as a snack. Me, I love bell peppers. So bell peppers was an option for me to have raw. Snow peas is a great vegetable to have raw. Bean sprouts, great way to have a raw vegetable. So these are ideas that you could have around your snacks and still get your 7 cups of vegetables in. So that's pretty much, as far as right servings is concerned, that's pretty much encompasses all your 5 major groups: proteins, carbs, healthy fats, fruits, and vegetables. Now I want you to turn over to the next page, which is going to be talking about the right times. So now you're turning the page. On the top side, you're going to see step 3, the right times. So this is going to conclude our 3-step process, and really is equally as important as understanding what the right foods are and what are the right portion sizes. So this is how I kind of instruct this to a lot of my members and make them understand is you're still going to have your 3 major meals. You're still going to need your breakfast, you're still going to need your lunch, and you're still going to need your dinner. However, what I tell my members is between your breakfast and your lunch, I need you to have that hearty snack. And the same thing between your lunch and your dinner. So we're going to have 5 eating times per day. Your main 3, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then 2 big hearty snack times between your breakfast and lunch and between your lunch and dinner. This, and the reason that this is so important, is because your body needs to get acclimated to eating on a regular basis. You want your body to know that it's going to be fed every few hours, so that way it gets the nutrients that it needs during that time, and it takes away and lets loose and waste away what it doesn't need at that time, knowing that you're going to eat 2 hours later. So all it needs to contribute your energy for is the next 2 hours. Once your body gets acclimated during this conceive stage, you're going to see the success of you feeling more energetic, feeling lighter on your steps. So this process of eating 5 meals a day is very important to you feeling better and more energetic. Now, a couple of other big things timing-wise. Your fruits. So those 2 servings of fruit that I just went over, you need to have them by noon. And the reason why you have to have them by noon is that fruits, as we mentioned initially, they're really high in sugar. However, it's good sugar. It's sugar that gives us energy. It's natural sugar. So we want to utilize those sugars throughout our day and not be able to hold those sugars to the end of the day, which your body will turn those into fat. So by having them by noon, you're basically utilizing it throughout the day. And by the end of the day, all those sugars are turned into energy that you utilized. So another big thing is when you're at your workout time, you don't want to eat 1 hour prior and 1 hour after. And this is especially important on cardio days. The reason being is if you eat 1 hour prior to working out, your food still needs to digest. And as you're digesting that food, if you start working out, what could potentially happen is acids building up in your stomach, which end up going up your esophagus and causing some nauseousness and potentially you having to throw up. Now, what ends up happening afterwards is your body now, your heart rate's up. It doesn't completely go into rest mode at a minimum 1 hour after you're working out. So you want to get the best of your workout and you want to burn the most calories. So by not ingesting foods 1 hour after, your body's using calories within your body to burn, to give you energy as your heart rate is going back into that rest mode. The problem is if you end up eating 1 hour into right after your workout, before that hour's up, it's going to utilize those foods that you ate to burn, to use those calories to give you energy versus burning the calories already in your body. So again, 1 hour prior, no eating of food. 1 hour after, no eating of any food. You could obviously drink water. That's definitely something that we'd want you to do, is continue to hydrate. The other big thing that we want to tell you timing-wise is 3 hours prior to your bedtime, I would like you to not have your last meal. So within 3 hours of your bedtime, you're not having that dinner. You want to have it 3 hours prior to your bedtime. And the reason being is your body takes roughly between 2 and 3 hours, depending on what your meal is, takes roughly about 2 to 3 hours to completely digest your food. Now, what's really important to know is when you go into your sleep mode, your body completely shuts down from, a digestion perspective, and your metabolism completely slows down. So if you have uneaten food that still needs to process and digest in your body, what ends up happening is you don't get that comfortable sleep that you want. Also, if you ever notice, if you eat late at night, what happens when you go to the restroom? You're usually going when you wake up in the morning, when your body again reacclimates to digesting the food, which is completely horrible when it comes to your body's digestive process. It sits there for the entire night, making you uncomfortable. You waking up and then your body going into that quick digestive mode, so that way it could turn those foods around. Half the time the body makes that food, it turns it into fat and it actually puts it and lays it before you go to sleep if it's not fully digested. So it's really important to digest your food and have it fully done before going to bed, which is you want to give yourself about 3 hours. However, a lot of my members have told me that I need to eat prior to going to sleep. I feel hungry. So you never go to sleep hungry. I have a 3-step process. First step, drink water. Wait 15 minutes. Second step, drink green tea if you're still hungry. Wait 15 minutes. If you're still hungry, have a protein shake with just the protein and some almond milk. That will get digested the quickest, and that should hold you over to the morning, and you won't feel hungry or wake up in the middle of the night. That concludes stage 1 of the 3-step process. Again, the right foods, the right portion sizes, the right times. So let's turn the page to the next page. You're going to see on the top side, it's going to say treat meals. Yay for treat meals. So under our nutrition plan, we know that your body's got to go through a process of kind of weaning off some of the treat things that you did for yourself prior to going on the nutrition plan. Now, what ends up happening is if you completely go cold turkey, you're going to have a craving. And we never want that craving to turn into an indulgence where you're having twice or 3 times as much as you normally would have if you sat with that particular treat item. I'll give you my example. I love pizza. So every Sunday, I planned it on my Sunday, but you're allowed 1 treat meal, just a single meal, not a day, to eat whatever you want, whatever your heart desires. What I used to do with my treat meal, which was pizza, is I used to convince myself during the week, as I had that craving to have more treat meal, to have that treat meal, to have that pizza, I convinced myself to say, I'm going to have it on that Sunday. And what I used to do is I really went all out. I would, get the nice china out, would get all the fixings that I want. The minute that I sat down and had that pizza, the minute that I got up, that was done. That was done with my treat meal. So you want to utilize it as I have everything in front of me. I have what I'm going to have. I'm going to sit down, really enjoy it because you deserve it, because you worked hard during the week and you really stayed on the nutrition. The minute that bottom gets off of that chair, that treat meal is done and you're back on that nutrition. So if you turn to the next page, you're going to see on the title, Permitted Beverages. So you're allowed 3 different drinks to have during your time with the 10-week challenge. Obviously, things that are logical in nature. You can't have any soda. We don't want any powders, no crystal lights, no, sweetened iced teas, things like that. What we really want you to have is to focus on 3 different things. And I'll tell you this was the biggest thing for me because I struggled with getting off of soda. And I'll tell you how I was successfully able to get off of it. So the 3 drinks that you want to focus on are water, seltzer, and your coffee or your tea. Now, with water, there's a little bit trick of a trade. What I want you to do is take half of your body weight in ounces, and that's how much water you should be drinking per day. To give you my example, I'm 190 pounds. That means, half of my weight is 95 pounds or 95 ounces that I should be drinking in water every single day. If you look at a typical Poland Spring bottle, I need about 8 to 9 of those guys to get enough of the water that I need to detox my body. Now, seltzer water, which is a good thing for me because I loved carbonation, I use seltzer water, and particularly I loved the LaCroix brand because it has flavor seltzer water. So I got a little bit of taste of a flavor as I was having the carbonation, which was really important for me. Now, your coffee and tea, you can absolutely have it. Just gotta have it black or with almond milk. And as a sweetener, the only sweetener that's allowed within our program is called stevia. Stevia is the purest form and doesn't, provide any additional sugar to your blood. So your blood sugar levels stay at the same level. So anything else, honey, agave, any brown sugar, all those guys contribute to your blood sugar levels. So we're trying to avoid any type of increase in diabetic levels, things like that. And the only one that provides that is a stevia brand. And you can find that at most local grocers. So going back to the way I was able to conquer, so not only did, the seltzer water help me, but being able to get a diffuser water bottle. And what that basically is, it allows you to put anything in the middle, and whatever that fruit is, that flavor is. If I love mint, so I used to put mint in there. Anything that you love flavor-wise that's natural, throw it in the middle, leave it overnight, and it'll diffuse into the water. So you have a flavored water as you're drinking your water. That way you've got some sort of taste to it. That's one thing that I used to get bored with a lot is water doesn't taste like anything. Now you could add your own natural taste, add fruit, add the mint. That way you get some sort of flavor to it. Okay, let's talk about the last few pages. The titles that you're going to see on the last few pages are Veggie and Salad, additional resources, nutritional question and answers, and how to read a nutritional label. Now, just highlighting a few key things that I want you to focus on in these pages is, unfortunately, outside of your normal vinegar and oil or balsamic vinegar, there's not a lot of salad dressings out there that are compliant. However, it is super, super easy to make a really great salad dressing. So they're giving you examples of different recipes to make those salad dressings. I highly would suggest it. What I used to do is keep a bottle within my bag so that when I went off to work, it was simply as taking it out, drizzling it on whatever salad I had, and enjoying that and enjoying the flavor versus having a balsamic vinegar or oil and vinegar every single day. So that's kind of my little bit of a tip on that. Additional resources. Never feel like you're ever alone when it comes to nutrition. Nutrition is such a key component of success on the program that I want you to feel like we're always available for you. So there's several online resources as well as us, as obviously your Secaucus Max team, you could certainly go to members.themaxchallenge.com. The username and password is something that we will provide to you. And basically when in there, they'll show you a step-by-step meal plan. They have an electronic version of every stage. So that way you're preparing yourself as to the best of your ability. We also have made a really great partnership with Eat Clean Bro. It's called MAX Challenge Meals. They produce meals for us that are, compliant within our nutrition plan. They deliver twice a week, and you basically go order right online. They can deliver nice and fresh within a freeze bag right to your door. So if you're struggling with lunch or struggling with dinner, utilize that as a resource. It's usually about roughly $8 to $10 per meal. So you have an idea there. The last page I'll tell you is pretty interesting as to why we do some of the things we do. Why do we say no milk? Why don't we want you to have sugar? Why do we want the low gluten content items? So if you want to read through that and kind of, even if you have other additional questions, feel free to ask us. But I think that's going to answer a lot of the questions that you may have on our nutrition plan. So definitely look at those last 2 pages. The other cool thing is there's a section where it tells you how to read a nutrition label. So I would definitely use that for an education, but like I said, if you're ever struggling, you're reading a nutrition label, not sure if it's compliant, send us a picture at our 201-355-3474, one of our team members, or put it on Facebook. One of our team members, one of the Max members, legacy members, will reach out and basically say it's compliant or it's not, and probably give you a reason as to why not, because they probably had asked that question themselves at one point in time. So that concludes our stage 1 conceive nutrition plan. This will again be for the first 3 weeks of your challenge, and then we look forward to providing you the next video series once we hit the stage 2 nutrition plan. Good luck, and let's take it to the max.